think play really good. Last 2 months, I would focus for World Pool Master.
Okay, I feel really good. I'm really happy for play this event, so I can't wait for tomorrow.
It's my friend. It's the same to my brother. Every time practice together every day, fly together, travel together.
It's difficult to play with your friend, but I try separate, but I try my best.
I remember I win 2 years ago. It's very, very special for me, very, very special year for me. But I try not think if I win, what will happen. I try only focus win first round.
So then, it is the all-Spanish match here in Gibraltar, just across the border from Spain. They've got a really good relationship, these two. They've been practicing up on the table upstairs. They practice and train together all the time in the city of Salamanca. They've actually just started commentating together on snooker in Spanish language, but now they are pitted against each other in the World Pool Masters.
Yes, I think this was the match we've all been waiting for in today's afternoon session. Who is going to win the battle of the Spaniards? World Cup of Pool partners, travel partners, practice partners.
Sanchez Ruiz to break.
Who's going to get the win?
Well, the first small battle has been won by Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
Sanchez is well known for his breaking skills. Very good breaker, hits them very hard, good to control. So he'll be a little bit nervous. Probably looks up to David a little bit as well.
Yes, he's the younger of the two, 27 years of age, from Murcia. As for David Alcaide, well, he's 40 and he's from nearby Malaga originally.
Oh, I didn't know you were 40 years of age. I thought you were younger than that. It's quite a neat little shot he played there. It was a funky little angle, and he only had a small window to land in. There you see, just past the 8 ball.
Extension called.
But to get from the 3 to the 5, it's not easy.
Well, a little bit of shoulder went into that one. I think a little bit is diplomatic, but it went into the pocket nevertheless.
Yeah, it was quite a good shot, really. He had to play it with a little bit of spin just to come out into this area. He'll certainly be happy with the outcome. I'd be intrigued to find out who wins the practice battles between these two. Because usually, if you practice with the same person, usually one's got a better record than the other. Oh my.
That kind of miss is simply unforgivable.
Yeah, you touched on something there with a bit of the shoulder. Let's just have a look. Yeah, he was jumped up before. That's a big no-no. You've got to stay still. Wasn't a difficult shot.
And it might seem strange to say this, but even in a best of 13 rack match, which this is, a race to 7, the first frame can be so important, especially when a grave mistake of that nature is committed.
Yeah, and obviously moving forward, obviously you expect David to pot these 3 balls. As I say that, he's probably got quite a bit of angle here, so he's got to play a good shot here, but moving forward, Sanchez can't really, you've got to try and forget about that mistake, and that is easier said than done. He's landed in no man's land. I think he was trying to hold it, just got into it too much. I think he should have played 3 rails there for the 8 ball in the same pocket as the 7. That way he could have hit a better stroke on the shot there. You don't have to hold it as much. That's a pretty good effort, that, Phil.
Well, after missing the 6, although Francisco is in trouble, he will be delighted to be back at the table.
Yeah, you're right, he will, because I'm sure he thought he was never getting back to the table. This is not an easy shot, though. Oh, can he just see enough to bank it? It all depends on how close. Yeah, I think he's playing the other way. Is he playing thin? Is he going for the bank? I don't know what he's doing. One thing's for certain. Oh, I thought it was going to fall in. He wasn't playing the bank in the middle, I can assure you. Wowzers.
Well, that was remarkable. A, how close it went, and B, the fact it's almost hanging over the lip. Look at that.
I can't believe that didn't fall, you know, Phil. That's incredible.
You'll not see an easier ball potted than the 8 that Alcaide's just knocked in, and the 9 will surely follow. Indeed, so a couple of mistakes from Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, and with that, the 2017 World Pool Masters champion, David Alcaide, gets off to the desired start. Of course, Carl, you know all about David Alcaide. When he came back here last year to defend the title, it was you who beat him in the first round, 8-3.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get a last-minute invite because a player's visa, something went wrong, and I was drawn against David, and I think over the years I've got a pretty good record against him, so I think in his own mind he was probably ready to play somebody else, and then I stepped in, so it probably wasn't too good for him, and managed to get the win.
This year, Alcaide is the number 16 seed, and should he prevail in this match, he will play Niels Fine in the last 16, which would mean, of course, the last 2 winners of the tournament going head-to-head. Sanchez will be absolutely mortified, particularly over the missed 6 ball.
Break leading 1 rack to 0.
Yeah, you're right. It was a poor error at this level. And I feel he's got to try and get off to a good start and stay close to David. Clearly David, the more experienced of the 2. As we see another dry break.
It's been an afternoon where we've seen a preponderance of dry breaks, and yet the action has really flown. I know Alex Lely mentioned this during the previous match, but I think it's worth repeating. Sanchez qualified for the recent Gibraltar Open snooker here at this Tercentenary Hall, which is part of the Victoria Stadium in Gibraltar. And the fact he beat Martin O'Donnell 4-3, I thought was one of the great Q Sports achievements of the year so far, because he's not a specialist snooker player. Martin O'Donnell is a fine snooker player, make no mistake. He's been to world ranking events latter stages on several occasions, so that was an extraordinary result for Sanchez. What was also extraordinary was the deciding frame. It was 4-3 to him, after an 85-minute decider.
Wow. And Alex said he was using his pool cue as well.
I think it's also worth a mention that he was in the tournament, having come through the amateur qualifying tournament, which was held a couple of days before. And David Alcaide also qualified for the Gibraltar Open Snooker, so they're very useful with a cue stick. One footnote, actually, about Sanchez. After he beat Martin O'Donnell in the next round, he took a couple of frames off the 1997 World Snooker champion Ken Doherty before losing 4-2.
Sounds like he's a pretty tasty snooker player to me then. Played a good shot there though, he had a nice angle just to bump the 6 out because the 6 was in a tricky position and he knew he was guaranteed position on the 5 because it was over the pocket. Could just do with a cue ball slowing down a bit, you don't want it to go on the rail.
And this, of course, is bogey ball from the previous rack.
He's not left that in the best possible place though. I mean, I still expect him to get out, but you know, he wanted a bigger angle there just to be a natural shot. So he's had to force stun. Judged that well though.
David Alcaide broke dry and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz did the rest. So 1-1 in what should be an intriguing match. Now, you're a very popular figure on the pool circuit, Carl, so you've played a number of friends on a number of occasions. Is there any kind of mindset involved? Do you have to block out that friendship when you're out there?
You do, but that's easier said than done. You sort of can't really do that. But it is a different feeling when you play somebody you're more close to as opposed to, you know, another foreign player or something like that, without a doubt.
I know that in the 80s and then subsequently the 90s, snooker players like Steve Davis and Stephen Hendry made a point of trying to stay aloof, trying to keep apart from the rest of the players on the circuit just in case they came up against people who they were friendly with or had a warm relationship to. They'd rather be cool, calm and collected and not have any emotions involved when they're playing out there in the match arena.
Yeah, I mean, it's each to their own, of course, but you know, kind of doing that, it's a lonely world out there, so it takes a special kind of character to be able to do that. Something I always struggled with, to be honest, because I'm a people person. I like to be around people, having a laugh and a joke. But as I said, it's each to their own.
So frame 3, Sanchez to break.
And you won't be shocked to hear it's another dry break. But from David's dry break, Sanchez had a nice open table. Sanchez dry break, David's got clusters. So it's just a safety shot. And it was a relatively easy safety shot. So even though he didn't have a shot on the one ball, he was left with a, you know, a nice safety shot.
Extension cold.
Cue ball very close to the rail here, and after the kick shot, can't really see much going on, just where the balls are. So rule number 1 here is make sure you contact the 1. Don't give your opponent ball in hand.
all things said and done, a pretty good result. He might be back in trouble, we know that, but at least he's not left the one.
Yeah, as you said, he made a good hit, went safe, so he's not, you know, left an opportunity to clear the table here, but I do believe David's got a couple of safety options here. He might send the cue ball over and behind the red 3 ball.
Extension called.
Or if he doesn't elect to do that, he could send the 1 ball over in that direction and spin the white round. He's got a good line of balls to hide behind though. Yeah, I think he's playing the second option. Looks pretty good to me.
Well, to coin a phrase that's repeatedly used by our friend and colleague Ted Lerner, a wall of balls are down that side of the table, and Alcaide has made full use of them.
You can see Francisco, I think he can just go below the blue 2 ball there. He's going to go 1, 2, 3 rails. Try and kick this 1 ball. It's a good hit. He wanted it a little bit fuller, but he'll take that all day long. He'll be definitely happy with the outcome of that. It was a good hit off 3 rails. There's a bit of distance. He's just trying to play the cue ball in behind the 3. And I think he's got there. Both players just having a look to see if the 1 ball's creeped out. Don't believe it has.
Is it fair to say, Cole, that of the 2, Alcaide is the cager?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. More experienced as well. He's played in Mosconi Cup. Obviously, as a former World Pool Masters champion. Francisco won a European Tour event, but still not done it on the big stage yet. Tried to make the 1 ball there. David's going to play a 1-6 combination here. Cue balls on the cushion. Cueing right across the table. Important to stay very still. David's a very good cueist though. Stay still. Nice and compact. He's got a little bit of work to do here though. He can pot this 1 ball, but it's thin, so he's got to judge the angle coming across because the 7 and the 5 are in his way, and this might turn out pretty good. He's got to keep rolling. Yeah, he's been a bit fortunate there. I'm not really sure what he was trying to do. Unless he was just trying to get back over onto this side rail. And if he was, it's actually a good shot, but it just stopped, and it stopped absolutely perfect. This is delightful angle. Now this shot here, if you're playing this shot in a club, on a table that's been worn in with an old cloth, you sort of hit this shot with a bit of a hard grip and you like stun it in, but on the TV table it's soft, just like that, because it's so responsive and slick. It's soft hands. That's how you have to play that shot.
And we've seen that an awful lot, particularly in the early racks of every single match. If a player does make a positional misjudgment, it's normally because they've underhit.
Yeah, you're kind of scared to put a full stroke on it because you know it's so responsive and fast. do believe he did play down in this area, because I know the 5 doesn't pass the 7, so that's a pretty nifty shot he's played there. He's given himself options, knowing that the 5 ball went in the side right-hand middle pocket and this corner, so that was a good shot, that was.
And so it's going to be the 9 down the rail. It should be reasonably straightforward. It should have been, and it was. And so David Alcaide, after winning the first frame and then being pegged back, goes in front again. Alcaide is 2-1 up on his good friend and practice partner, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. The Dafabet World Pool Masters continues in a moment.
Thank you, rack 4.
Welcome back to Gibraltar and the Dafabet World Pool Masters. The next door neighbour of this small country is Spain, and we've got 2 players from that nation going head-to-head at the moment. David Alcaide, 2 racks to 1 up on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
I've definitely noticed the table seems to be breaking from that side a lot better. So the other players in the tournament, if they're watching, I think we'll see a lot more breaks from over there. Seems to be balls and better splits going on. David made a good run out in the last rack, so it'll make him feel a lot better. Played a nice combo there.
How time flies. It was 2 years ago when he captured this title, and it was a fantastic atmosphere in here when he beat Jason Shaw in that deciding frame finish. So many of his friends and supporters were in the crowd, and when he finally lifted the trophy, got a hero's reception.
Yeah, I remember it well. It was last rack drama. Both players had chances. It was pool at its best.
And now 2-9 combination coming up, Cole.
Yeah, he's just walked round there because I think he's going to try and play a 2-way shot. But that's just to give himself a bit of confidence, really. It's probably a natural angle for the cue ball. One thing's for certain, you don't want to be scratching. So I think you just want to concentrate on the combo. Scratching. I'm a little bit near, but he's all right.
Yes, the heart might have missed a single beat there, but I think all the way down he was just keeping an eye on the white. He knew it was going to be okay. So right into the heart of the pocket for the man who you rightly pointed out, Cole, was the first Spaniard ever to represent Europe in the Mosconi Cup. And talking of that, we must give you the dates for this year's battle between Europe and the USA. 25th to the 28th of November, Mandalay Bay on the Las Vegas Strip. If you want tickets for what should be an absolute blockbusting affair over 4 days, just go to mosconicup.com. So Alcaide, very quickly, almost halfway to a place in the last 16. Not got a head-scratching moment for Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, but he's looking as though he's contemplating what might well be a really tough battle. Alcaide's not been flawless so far, but he's played some pretty good pool.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the
Rack
last
5,
match between
David
Albin
Alcaide to
and
break,
Jeffrey.
leading 3 racks to 1.
Albin was breaking from the same side David is, and Jeffrey was breaking on the other side. And I do believe Francisco's also broke on the same side as Jeffrey, and both players did not have much joy. That was very softly hit. There were no sort of power in it. He was trying to make the wing ball there, I think, but I think he should have just stuck to what he's been doing best.
Maybe labouring under a misapprehension there, because in the previous rack he sorted it out. There, the mystery of the break, as it's been all afternoon, rears its head again.
And he's faced with a tricky little shot here. I think he's got to draw this ball in with a bit of right side to miss the 7, to find this gap as he has done. He's judged this nicely. The 3's over here, and the 7 does stop it going clean in the pocket, but it is a pretty easy combo. But it's, you want to be close to your work, so he might have to play this 2 ball up into the top if he's no angle. That's what he's looking at now. He's looking right down the line of the shot. Pretty good. You'll be happy with that. The dreaded combination shot. Some players love it, some players hate it.
Well, the combination is about 2 things. It's about execution, obviously, but also about visualisation. And I think some players tend to visualise shots in general better than others.
Yeah, it's a funny shot, really, because you're used to potting the ball in the pocket, and all the years you play, that's what you do. And then when you have to sort of hit the ball onto another, the best kind of advice I could give is try and pretend that the ball's not there. So you're still aiming for a part of the pocket, if you like.
Now, in the first rack, Sanchez missed a similar 6 to this same pocket.
Oh, Phil, you've called it. You have called that one. I bet you were thinking about that 6 ball and all. I bet his brains thought, I've missed one in this pocket. And look at that, he's missed a shocker.
It was almost dead straight, the 6. That one was a little more difficult, but really it should have been deposited.
Yeah, and I noticed in the replay there, he jumped up. He needs to work on his action and stay still on them crucial pots.
Isn't it amazing, regardless of skill level, how the mind can play tricks?
Yeah, and in practice, he just wouldn't miss that shot. But out here, it's amazing what can happen. David will know the importance of these remaining 3 balls, because he knows Francisco sat in his chair thinking about the 2 balls he's missed in that pocket and the opportunities he's had and missed. So this is basically, in a regular pool tournament, it'd be a good time for a timeout after the 9 ball. Let your opponent think about it even more.
did in rack number 1. David Alcaide taking advantage of a very bad miss from his opponent, and in this case from his friend as well. Alcaide leads by 4 racks to 1, and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz will be ruining this one. Balls you simply can't afford to miss. The 6th ball in the first rack was bad enough, but to miss 2 in 5 racks, well, you can't afford to do it. Otherwise, it's the road to elimination.
Yeah, just going back to the couple of balls he's missed, you can clearly see before he's hit the cue ball, he jumped up. That is rule number 1, not to do.
There's no doubt that winning this was the highlight of David Alcaide's career. He was the champion here 2 years ago, but he's also won the Predator International 10-ball event in Portugal in 2009. He's been a semi-finalist in the WPA World 8-ball Championship in 2011, and also a semi-finalist in 2 World 10-ball Championships. So he's been there or thereabouts at the highest end of the game.
Rack 6. David Alcaide to break, leading 4 racks to 1.
So Alcaide knows that Sanchez is hurting. He wants to make him hurt some more.
It's a pretty good break-off shot there. Made a ball, still at the table. Does have a shot at the 1 ball. Just coming round now to have a look to see if the 2 can combo onto the 7 ball, which is over the pocket. If it doesn't, he might play safe behind the 3. With the cue ball being so close to the rail as well, it doesn't offer many opportunities for positional as well. This is his other problem.
Extension call.
Let's have a look at what he's electing to do here then. Didn't go in clean, and that's caused the positional error. Wanted to hit that a lot thinner, didn't he, Phil?
Yes, had he hit it thinner, the cue ball would have travelled more, and consequently, he wouldn't have been in this self-imposed snooker.
I knew he'll be disgusted with himself with that shot. It's land there, I mean.
Oh, shot. Ball in hand.
And he's missed the kick shot and give Francisco a little bit of hope.
Start the clock, please.
I must be honest, we didn't know where the 2-ball was going to go had contact been made, but I'm surprised he didn't make any contact at all.
Still got a little bit of work to do here, and I think he wanted the 2-ball a little bit more over the pocket. It's just sat on the side rail there, so he's got to make sure he gets on the 3, but he's got to get on the 3 good to then get over for the 4. Because it's no use drawing this ball back out now to a similar position of where it's at, because you can't avoid the 9-ball. So he's not played the combo too clever, to be honest. Judged that well though, to find that little gap. Yeah, he needed to be over this side because that offered the better angle to then get on the 4-ball. Again, that's a little bit shy of pace, giving himself more work to do. Into his dreaded pocket.
Well, I'm loath to say this after the 2 blunders he's made so far in the match, but really from here, he should be pulling one back. Take it from me, he's not missing this. We know for certain at the end of this match it's going to be a case of Viva España,
I think so, yeah.
but which Spaniard will come through?
Yes, time out.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, well, his stock has just risen by winning rack number 6. Even so, it's David Alcaide, who's 4-2 ahead.
Rack 7, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break, trailing 2 racks to 4.
It's been a really busy afternoon here on day 1 of the Dafabet World Pool Masters. We've had 3 matches already. Alex Pagulayan is through. Very impressive was the Russian Fedor Gorst, and also Albin Auschen from Austria. So one question remains from this session: who will win this all-Spanish encounter between David Alcaide and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz?
As we've just seen, dry break. He stayed over on that side of the table. And I do believe there's been more dry breaks from the left breaking side of the table, so not really spotted that. David again on the 1-ball, Phil. He's hooked himself again. He's fuming with himself there. Such a big target.
I was just going to say that there's a large margin of error there. That really is a poor mistake for a player of his caliber. One of the themes of the afternoon, though, Carl, as you rightly put it, was how many pots we've seen
Extension call.
when a jump shot has been played.
Yeah, he'll do well to even aim at this. You can see how much he's stretching over. Oh, this will be unbelievable, this shot. Oh, wow. What a shot.
He's like Spider-Man there.
Yeah, he's like playing it blind, almost. Couldn't even see. Playing this into a slightly blind pocket. Blind pocket is where you can't see the pocket in your eye line. Judged it well. That's not too bad. Feels like it's a bit short of pace, but I think he's all right there.
These two met in the final of the Spanish Cup up in Madrid a couple of weekends ago, and it was Alcaide who prevailed then. And he's very much in the driver's seat in this match. Well, that was a quick, clean kill. And Alcaide, as a result, moves to 5-2. Just a couple more racks required to go into the last 16 to take on the defending World Pool Masters champion, Niels Fine. Overall, I think, Carl, he will be happy with his display so far.
Yeah, he's played good, solid. Just a couple of small positional errors, but I think at the minute, Sanchez will be ruining them couple of missed balls in the corner pocket. That's helped David's healthy lead and the break shot. I would like to see him move over to the other side. This was a nice jump shot though. You could see it full stretch. Kept the rack alive.
We're just hearing, by the way, a little bit of information which I think is quite pertinent to the way things have gone this afternoon. To this point, we've had 22 dry breaks.
22 dry breaks.
Thank you, rack 8.
And that's
David
on a
Alcaide to
rock
break.
surrounded by water.
Leading 5 racks to 2.
There you see David breaking from his usual side. There you have it. He's made 1 ball, the 8 ball, that's 2 balls, the 6 ball, 3 ball, nearly made the 9 ball. There's no balls left, Phil.
Well, after that, I'm glad I mentioned all those dry breaks. That was the complete opposite.
Just seems the split's coming out a bit better. I don't know. Sometimes it just happens that way. But as a player, you know, they're sat out there. They should. These are things you've got to look for. You've got to try and change the match.
Well, before this rack, as I said, 22 dry breaks from 36 played. That's a very high percentage, it really is.
Do you know what the stat is on the dry breaks from which side of the table you break from, though, Phil?
Carl, I do not.
Oh, if I was going to say, if you'd have pulled that one out, I would have been impressed.
Well, I suppose the opposite of dry is wet, and this is going to be wet, 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 because it's going to be over in no time.
Yeah, he's just got these 4 balls now to get himself on the hill.
Extension called.
Calls an extension, no? Just wants to make sure he knows. Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Folks, he's not missing this. So there you go, David Alcaide.
And I think now he's just got to try and sit there, and if he does get the opportunity, just set himself mini targets. So I'd be thinking
Rack 9.
6-4.
Alcaide to break, leading 6 racks to 2.
That would be my first little target. But of course, he's got to get another shot first. Let's have a look. No, didn't really get the balls moving again. Lacked a bit of venom.
Could be a little fortunate here because the blue 2 ball has gone very close to the red 3, and that might pose a problem for Sanchez. Might.
Yeah, I think he's just got to try and land low on the 2, in a similar position to where the cue ball was on that shot. And this looks pretty good. Yeah, he could have just done with another roll, because he is bumping the 3, but I don't think it's too much trouble. I think he can play like a soft draw shot and just flick the edge of the 3 ball. Yeah, that was... relatively easy. This is all about getting from the 4 ball to the 5 ball. Pace is key here as well. You don't want to land short, because that would pose a thinner shot on the 5 ball than you would like. And winner breaks. Who's to say he can't run the set out?
Well, that's one of the great things about this format. No lead is big enough to feel entirely secure.
Yeah, that was well judged. He couldn't put that better with his hand. So these 3 balls for another rack. And if he hadn't missed them 2 balls, he would actually be 5-4 up, you know, Phil. So it just shows you.
It might only be a stay of execution, but Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is staying alive. Nevertheless, David Alcaide remains on the hill, just 1 rack away from progress, because he leads by 6 racks to 3.
Thank you, rack 10. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz to break, trailing 3 racks to 6.
That was Nigel Rees announcing the start of rack number 10. Can the Sanchez comeback continue?
And he's finally switched over. But it's not worked.
I think for the break-off, for both players in this match, certainly it's been 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You think they might have solved something, and then the next rack, it's back to square 1.
Yeah, he's snookered on the break shot, but it's not a difficult kick shot, this. It's a shot I always liked. Off the side rail, fairly softly, just to cut the one ball in. It's definitely a shot you have to take on. It's not that difficult. And there you go. Played it to perfection.
He's even got some form of angle on the 2-ball. And with the use of side, good things happen. This could be the beginning of the end.
Yeah, as you said, he had a nice little angle there, judged the pace to perfection. And this is not a bad little chance. The only slight chance Francisco's got would be the 7-ball. David's just having a look to see if the 7 does pass. It probably does pass, to be honest, so it doesn't cause any problems. At first glance, I thought it might not pass the 9, but from the overhead, it did look like it passes. So this is just connect the dots now.
Yes, and pool balls, we know, are inanimate objects. But when people say they don't forgive, or indeed forget, they are right. Early in this match, Sanchez Ruiz missed a couple of balls he would have been horrified with. And ever since, he's been kicking against the wind.
Yeah, this is all about how tight the 7-ball is past the 9.
Extension call.
There you see, he's having a good look down. He's decided it does pass, and he's not got the cue ball in a bad position at all to play this shot. I'm sure we'll get a good look at this line in a minute. Yeah, he's got enough gap there, as you can see. It's looking bleak for Sanchez.
This should be the final axe blow. Indeed it is. A couple of early mistakes cost him dear, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. A match that was played in a really good spirit. The two friends going head-to-head. They didn't want to, they had to. And in the end, it was David Alcaide who came through with a 7-3 verdict. So we're going to a break. Afterwards, we'll hear the thoughts of our latest winner at the Dafabet World Pool Masters.
Yeah, the final game of this afternoon's session has been won by David Alcaide against his great friend Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. He was excellent in that final game here in this session of the Dafabet World Pool Masters. And David is alongside me now. David, well done, congratulations. Now, I know that Francisco is your friend, so how difficult is it to play against your friend?
It's more my friend is saying to my brother. We live not together, but 3 minutes the distance. Practice every day together, fly together, travel together. It's very, very difficult and very bad luck play the first round.
And the next person you played, Niels Feyen, the champion. I mean, that's the hardest it could be.
Yeah, no, everybody know who is Niels Feyen. It's great, the best player, the best top 5 in the world for me. I try and give my 100%. I try to focus in my next game, but I know I have chance.
So you have won here before,
yeah.
So has Niels. So this really makes it a brilliant match in the next round.
Yeah, I win 2 years before. Great experience for every fan, Spanish fan, and for me. But next game is totally different.
David, very well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We will see you in the next round.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the other player. Gets a big round of applause there that he's deserved after that 7-3 win against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Earlier on, Alex Pagailan went through against Wu Chin-cheng 7-4. Fedegorsta's through as well. Albin Ushin as well. So an absolutely thrilling session there. So 4 players have already gone through to the last 16 from the preliminary round. But good news for you, we have got 4 more key matches coming up this evening here in Gibraltar.